A forgettable, horrendous, awful, absolute travesty of an all-star weekend. The only thing to get excited about coming up, the 2024 NBA playoffs, 2 long months away, rest of the regular season might as well be a snooze fest. Many already forgotten some familiar names, still somehow maintaining a roster spot in the NBA. These are 10 players, many totally haven't thought of for a long time, still in an NBA roster today. Starting with Alex Len of the Sacramento Kings, an underwhelming career for the Ukrainian, given the lack of growth, a huge success already playing his 11th season, been with Sacramento since 2022, 22 contests played, averages of 2 and 3, 8 minutes played, deep on the bench, missed a big chunk of time with ankle injury, team still vulnerable on D, blows too many leads, still struggling to find a proper answer on the true backup 5 after Sabonis, whether it still be the 30-year-old Lin or 36-year-old JaVale McGee. JaVale's intangibles as a pick and roll lob threat can't be taught, but Alex better with the dribble handoff and setting screens for a more traditional big. Think of a poor man Steven Adams on the final year of his contract, might have 1 or 2 more vet minimums remaining, but his time in the league should be ending. Wesley Matthews of the Atlanta Hawks, the now 37-year-old, be shocking if this wasn't his final season. In the league since 2009, most remember for his Blazers days balling out with Brandon Roy. The journeyman now on his 8th team, off the bench 11 minutes from starting at the 2 for the 2022 Bucks. 29 minutes played that postseason. Also on the 2020 Bucks, a team that gave him 0 chances, became super playable against Boston, great when the game slows down, even in his mid-30s, now just way too slow, might go down as one of the most unlucky role players of this generation, playing for the 2020 Bucks as the starting 2 guard, heavy favorites to come out the East, losing in the second round bubble, while the Lakers won the title, then signed with LA, brought in defense but unreliable of the shooting. Lakers proceeded to lose round 1 with him, while his former Milwaukee Bucks won the title. Matthews then went back to the Bucks on a minimum, increasing his chances at a ring, only for Middleton to go down, resulting in a second round loss. Absolute awful timing, a successful NBA career if this year's the end, from undrafted to making $115 million, kudos to that. James Johnson of the Indiana Pacers, the only reason he's still even on a roster after that Giannis Pacers game ball altercation, the pettiness of Indy, wasted no time signing the 36-year-old second-degree black belt karate and MMA specialist, originally waived afterwards, January 17th, but given 10 days until officially signed rest of the season February 8th, a tough presence, but specifically for being the team's bodyguard, not taking crap from any opponents who want to start. Johnson will make his presence felt until then. Won't be heard about too much if it's not fighting. After 5 total games on the year, just 18 contests a season ago, played for 10 different teams, now age 37, could honestly stick around for another 2-3 years for protection reasons. Having a 15-year career, $82 million in earnings, way more lucrative than pursuing a pro MMA career. Cody Zeller of the New Orleans Pelicans wasted most of his career with Charlotte, the 4-pick 2013 class, underwhelming career just like Alex Len, a relatively weak draft, even discussed briefly potentially a number 1 pick, played nearly twice as many playoff games with the Heat a season ago than his entire career with the Hornets. The last time many thought about Zeller guarding Jokic in the 23 finals, a late pickup for the scrambling Heat, enjoyed the ride getting minutes on the biggest stage. Many thought his career be over after being waived by Utah before the start of last season, compensated nicely, 1 year 3.1, a whopping 8 minutes a game, literally checks in, makes plays, rebounds a little bit, pops out, hustles, and just stays active for a typical role player. The only offseason move for a team featuring Zion and BI in the playoff picture when healthy. The 31-year-old Zeller, a 50-50 shot, this is his final NBA season. Mike Muscala, 11-year career, most memorable for the Zubac trade to the Lakers, another prototypical journeyman, 7 different teams, traveled from one bad team to another, the Stinky Wizards to the horrendous Pistons, 27 playoff contests total his first 4 seasons, next 7 years, just 8 postseason games, rode the bench most of the 23 playoffs with the Celtics, despite Al Horford's struggles. Moose simply not that much of a game changer at this stage of his career. On the bright side for Pistons fans, not that it matters, Moose considered a little better than James Wiseman, but that simply means absolutely nothing. Just having to bear a couple months living in the Motor City, just a vet that can space the floor for the young players. Bogdan Bogdanovic, Relaxing on the bench for Houston, 35 years of age, his second season in H-Town, forever known as a gentle giant, playing for his 6th different team, completed the Texas Triangle, doesn't get any bigger than that. The second player to accomplish that behind Mark Bryan, played nearly a third of his games with the Mavs, one of the most unathletic players but entertaining, barely to have to jump an inch while dunking. Who knows how long the Serbian will stick around. Anytime he gets a chance to suit up on the court, never take it for granted. Kira Lewis Jr. of the Utah Jazz, super deep on the bench, suited for his 3rd team of the season, a forgettable time in New Orleans, followed by a game with the Raptors. The still 22-year-old could be out the league, hasn't looked promising after the ACL injury late 2022, can take his talents overseas with the skills, but simply not an ideal point guard in today's NBA. Being undersized, can't shoot, a disgusting 2 of 21 from 3 on the year, the player most known for being the pick after Halliburton, his name becoming an afterthought, not drafted high enough to receive heavy backlash, now backing up Colin Sexton, Chris Dunn, and Keontae George, his playing time extremely limited. Juan Toscano-Anderson, a name many haven't thought of since his Golden State days, now with Sacramento under former Warriors assistant Mike Brown, 11 total games played, recording 7 total points for the now 30-year-old, almost Ryan Arcidiacono status. Brought in as a vet presence, one of the most known figures as a bottom shelf NBA player, great energy guy, remember for his hustles during the struggling Golden State pre-22 title year, one of those guys who barely plays but seems like an intense hard worker at practice, having the chance to be teammates with Steph Curry and LeBron James, absolutely something he will share with his grandkids a few decades down the line. Otto Porter Jr. of the Utah Jazz, he's been taking unlimited PTOs after that shit with Golden State. The franchise got the last ounce of his impacts before his body literally says nah-uh. Played a whooping 23 total games since that title. Toronto overpaid him, 2 years, $12.3 mil, being super injury prone since the 2019 season. It was a miracle. Dubs got 63 games out of him, pretty much rested Otto for the back-to-backs, allowing for his body to recover. Still miraculously 30 years old, his body's telling us he's 40. Already played more back-to-backs with the Raptors in 14 games year 1 than his full tenure in the Bay. Golden State's performance staff literally night and day. Masai Ujiri kept him way too long, a good 4th or 5th option in his prime, already gotten his $100 million contract. He can thank the Wizards. Very possible Porter Jr. might never play another NBA game again, definitely not playing more than 100 games going forward. One of the most underappreciated role players for any title team. That young of the Phoenix Suns, more like that old. Best known for one of the most bizarre stats, a Hall of Fame graphic, one of the few remaining from the 2007 draft, still somehow only 35 and not 45. His last impactful season, 2021 Bulls, if he ever gets on the floor now, will be used as a small ball 5, likely taking all of Eubanks' minutes. If Young signed with Phoenix back in 2021, might have been able to put them over the top, but now more of a mentor role, ready to fill in case of any injuries. A 12-6 career guy will have made over 150 mil when this season concludes. Not bad for a good role player who's never made an all-star team. 5 players who many haven't thought of for a hot minute. Out the league, Danny Green of the Sixers. From being the perfect 3-and-D starter for years, the now 36-year-old, only 13 total games played since the devastating ACL injury when Embiid landed on him. Montrezl Harrell could also be done for good. Toward ACL and meniscus, no player's career fell off quicker since winning an award. Being a former most improved player, it only took a few years for Trez to end up most regrets player. Embiid and Paul Reed's backup last season, never getting that big contract. Trez never found a key role since leaving the Clippers, not having another Lou Williams to set him up. Joe Harris did absolutely nothing for the Pistons, aside from getting severely overpaid. During the height of the 3 and no D-Max dollars era, Harris never recovered from that atrocious 2021 playoffs. A part of his NBA career died after Game 7 Milwaukee. Frank Ntilikina waived. The 25-year-old Frenchman never developed his shooting. Harry Giles waived by the Nets recently. From being 2016 #1 high school prospect to super injury prone, his knees couldn't keep him healthy. Which one of these current players you thought has been out the league for years? How many will remain come 2025? Subscribe for more awesome NBA content. See y'all next time.